Hey guys, Tarke here. I just thought I'd talk about my thoughts on the Diablo 2 Resurrected and very briefly about the Diablo 4 Rogue class announcements. Also, just as a quick heads up, yes, I've moved. Yes, my audio sounds a bit weird. And also my webcam has stopped working, so I'm actually having to use Zoom to display my webcam. So you can see a little bit of the rotate thing in the top corner there. But anyway, ignore that. What do I think about the Diablo 2 Resurrected news and the addition of the Rogue to Diablo 4? Starting with D2 stuff, I think it's cool. I like the visuals. I like that they're sticking as close as possible to Diablo 2. They said they're going to try and change as little as possible. It's still going to be running on the 25 frames per second mechanically. Visually, you'll see like an updated 60 FPS stuff, but it will play and it will have the same hit detection as the base like D2s, which is good. They've updated all of the art. One thing which was particularly kind of exciting is when it comes to some of the sets like Tasha's and stuff like that, which had cool icon art, but they didn't have cool 3D art. All of that stuff is going to be updated, so that's all pretty neat. That being said, though, while this is something that I've wanted for a while, because Diablo 2 is a very important game to me, Diablo 2 is what got me into ARPGs. If it wasn't for Diablo 2, I wouldn't be making Path of Exile content, and we wouldn't have this channel at all. Like, Diablo 2 is a very important game to me. I don't know how much I would actually play a HD D2 remaster, because they're being as close as possible, so it's not a remake. They're not going to be fixing some of the issues I have with Diablo 2, and there are incredibly potent, like, fan-made stuff. You've got Media in Excel, you've got Path of Diablo, loads more that I'm not aware of. There are loads of really good private server, like, Diablo 2 experiences, and I don't know if just like a new gloss of paint would be enough to make you play that over the, like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, if I want that Diablo vibe, I'm probably more likely to play a Path of Diablo or a Media in Excel. Now, you could argue, and this is a fair argument to make, is those change a lot of things about the core Diablo formula, and it's, you know, a different experience. If you want the Diablo 2 experience, you'll play the Diablo 2, and then if you want the more fancier version, the more tweaked stuff, then maybe you'll play an Excel, maybe you'll play a Path of Diablo. I do think there's also a very big crowd difference between the kinds of people who will play on a random private server, which has, you know, been very heavily modded, and then people who just want to, you know, open up and Battle.net and press play. Like, there are very big gaps in audience there, and this is also a great opportunity for people who've never played Diablo to go back and experience it for the first time. So I definitely appreciate that. In terms of the visuals and stuff, I will just pause it briefly on the character creation screen. I mostly think the visuals all look great, except for some of the characters I think look a bit wonky. Mostly my old granny lady Amazon. This might surprise you, I played a lot of Amazon back in the day, and Amazon's hasn't aged well in 20 years. I think the Necro looks excellent. I think the Assassin looks really cool. I think they've done a good job with the Sork. The Druid looks like he's been on the bruise. And the Barbarian's kind of looking like he could go to the gym. I mean, I'm a scrawny dude. Maybe they're trying to like de-muscleify him a bit. But yeah, I don't know. He just kind of seems like a football fan. He's kind of like, you know, in cosplay rather than a big barbarian. I think the Necro looks great. Like, the Necro's looking really gaunt, which I really like. I can't really see the Paladin too clearly. The Paladin's looking a bit wonky possibly, but we haven't got that good of a look at him, so I can't really comment. But yeah, that definitely struck out to me as being a bit odd. But I do think the Amazon and the Necro look preem. So from what we've seen so far, I think it will probably be good. I'm hoping we don't get a repeat of Warcraft Reforged. Warcraft Reforged has really soured Diablo remasters just because of how poorly that went. It also, I do genuinely worry about how this could affect private server stuff. With the Reforged, we saw that being incredibly disruptive to a lot of the fan-made stuff, and I do worry a little bit about how this could impact that side of things, because they're not going to be compatible at all. So yeah, I do have some worries about Diablo 2, mostly about how it will impact the private server community, and then how much it would actually see like much continued play by someone such as myself when there are those other experiences. But I'm sure, you know, if it launches and it's good, I'd give it a quick crack. Speaking just briefly on the Diablo 4 stuff, Diablo 4, I haven't ever been to a BlizzCon. I haven't played it. I've spoken to some people who have played it, and they've said it played amazingly when it was first demoed. I haven't got any of that experience, so I can only go off the stuff we've been shown. The initial Diablo 4 like trailers and stuff we were shown, it didn't really feel like they had much of a video game. It kind of felt like they just had some very loose ideas. Since that point, it seems like they're a little bit more grounded. They kind of have more of an idea of what it is they're going for. I do think the rogue as a class looks neat. The only thing that really initially like impressed me or stood out to me, other than obviously the amazing cinematic from that initial D4 announcement, was I thought the barbarian animation swapping was pretty neat. The way that he had like a mace, an axe, and a sword, and he would like attack with the sword, then pull out the axe, then put the axe back and pull out the mace. And I thought the animation swapping looked pretty neat. And a big part of the rogue gameplay is you can do this hybrid like melee range thing. So you could be like sword and daggers and then pull out a bow, and the animations all looked pretty neat. So like that aspect I think looks cool. I like the idea of playing a hybrid melee ranged, because that's something that you can't really do that well in Path of Exile. It doesn't really, I know there is a weapon swapping, but the idea of doing like a bow swapping into a sword, it's never really worked that well. So I think there's maybe something there, but until I actually get to play anything of Diablo 4 myself, if you want to give me some alpha stuff, great, but like until we see more, I can't really say anything other than I guess it's kind of neat. But yes, I'm Tarke. Let me know what you think of the rogue class. Let me know what you think about the whole Diablo thing. Is this something you'd really play? Is this the kind of thing that you would imagine, like assuming that it goes well, assuming we don't have a Warcraft Reforged, repeat, would this be something you'd just, buy it, play it through at once for nostalgia, or do you see yourself sinking, the hundreds of hours into it? But yes, I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Apologies about weird audio stuff, by the way. But bye.